נתניהו.
כל אחד הבעיה. אבל ניסה צריך מגזר. ולחמת לאחד. תפלאי ולתשיר.
רק כדי לבקש את זה.
בכל העניינים.
גם האישיים, גם הלאומיים.
בזמן שישראל מלאך, אבל מה, נתצו כמה עניינים.
פתחו כמה.
מה שרואה עוד, וגם מצו שעדיין משאיר ליבו. אז הייתה מה שהוא ומה ידיעתו.
ועושים.
הכנראה שהיא מספיק, כאילו שהיום כבר כמה שעות בגיל עדיין ליבו, אבל יש עוד כמה שעות, אבל יש להשתדל גם היום, בבשורות טובות. יש שמחה וטוב לבוא. אתה יודע שחסידים מקפידים שכל מנהיגים את שמחה. בשורות טובות, הצלחה רבה.
Well, it's time for tonight's Tool Time Award, and it goes to the FBI. Lately, seems like the FBI has been spending more time creating terrorists than actually catching the real ones. See, the Bureau's latest attempt to create and foil a terror plot in Southern California backfired, to put it mildly. The FBI, in their never-ending quest to foment violent jihad within the United States, sent an ex-convict named Craig Monteith to a mosque in Irvine, California, to find and recruit possible terrorists. But apparently, Craig here came on a little bit too strong to the non-jihadist members of the mosque because they ended up reporting him to the FBI due to his talk of violent jihad. They even got a restraining order against him. Now, it turns out that Craig is a bit of a character himself. He, like many FBI informants, has spent a little time in jail. And he made a pretty penny while working for the U.S. government. He made $177,000 tax-free dollars in his 15 months of service. So in return, Craig helped build a terrorism case against one of the mosque's members, which was so flimsy that the Justice Department took the very rare step of dropping the case. After, of course, the man in question had already been portrayed as being a dangerous terrorist who was a threat to national security. So now, Monte is going public with the inner workings of the FBI, claiming that he was trained by the FBI to entrap Muslims. Now, this is probably not the best news for them, especially since many people, including myself, had some very serious questions about the alleged Christmas tree bomber, who, quote, acted alone, except for the fact that he was given a fake car bomb by the FBI. So perhaps it's time that the feds start vetting their informants a little bit better. They start realizing that spending time and resources creating terrorists rather than fighting actual terrorists probably isn't the best way to keep America safe. I've got news for you, FBI. Not every Muslim living in America is a jihadist. And the fact that your informants are scaring ordinary individuals and then getting reported back to you, well, that's just embarrassing. And that's why the FBI is tonight's Tool Time winner.
Suiciders to kill innocent life, who had relations with Zarqawi. Imagine what the world would be like with him in power. The idea is to try to help change the Middle East. Now look, part of the reason we went into Iraq was the main reason we went into Iraq at the time was we thought he had weapons of mass destruction. It turns out he didn't, but he had the capacity to make weapons of mass destruction. But I also talked about the human suffering in Iraq, and I also talked the need to advance a freedom agenda. And so my answer to your question is that imagine a world in which Saddam Hussein was there, stirring up even more trouble in a part of the world that had so much resentment and so much hatred that people came and killed 3,000 of our citizens. You know, I've heard this theory about, you know, everything was just fine until we arrived, and then, you know, kind of stir up the hornet's nest theory. It just doesn't hold water as far as I'm concerned. The terrorists attacked us and killed 3,000 of our citizens before we started the freedom agenda in the Middle East. What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing, except for it's part of, and nobody's ever suggested in this administration that Saddam Hussein ordered the attack. Iraq was the lesson of September 11th is take threats before they fully materialize, Ken. Nobody's ever suggested that the attacks of September the 11th were ordered by Iraq. I have suggested, however, that resentment and the lack of hope create the breeding grounds for terrorists who are willing to use suiciders to kill to achieve an objective. I have made that case. And one way to defeat that, defeat resentment, is with hope. And the best way to do hope is through a form of government. Now, I said the enemy has not lost the desire or capability to attack us.
And these connections, I want the American people to hear this very clearly. Listen carefully to what the Vice President is saying. Because there is no connection between Saddam Hussein and the attacks of September 11th. Period. The 9/11 Commission has said that's true. Colin Powell has said it's true. But the Vice President keeps suggesting that there is. There is not. And in fact, any connection with Al-Qaeda is tenuous at best.
Mr. Vice President, you have 90 seconds to respond.
The Senator's got his facts wrong. I have not suggested there's a connection between Iraq and 9/11. With respect to 9/11, of course, you've had the story that's been public out there. The Czechs alleged that Mohammed Atta, the lead attacker, met in Prague with a senior Iraqi intelligence official 5 months before the attack.
We've had no evidence that Saddam Hussein was involved with the September the 11th. Now, what the Vice President said was that he has been involved with Al-Qaeda.
Hey guys. Man. I'm not even sure what to say, guys, you know. I'm upset. I'm upset with YouTubers. Month after month after month, people have come to me. What about Nibiru? What about the sun? What about the meteors? What about Elenin? What about this? What about that? And I kept trying to tell them, guys, that is months and months and months away. You have imminent, life-threatening danger right now, judgment from on high in several variations. You've got weather, you've got earthquakes, and you've got volcanoes. The three things that he said to when he returns. Because he is going to judge the entire globe, every nation. And yet people want to talk about some mysterious object out in space, and lives are being destroyed every single day. Because of the weather. Because of the climate changes that they are initiating on this planet. Now here's your flood situation from Louisiana all the way up to Arkansas, flooded along the river. And it's going to get a lot worse. Do you have a plan? Are you ready? Because all this water, look at Illinois and Indiana, guys. Look at Missouri. Look at the Missouri River, guys. Look at the Mississippi River, guys. Look at the Ohio River, guys. Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. All underwater, people. Flooding. People are losing their lives. They're losing their houses. They're losing the farmland. They're losing everything. What is the deal here? Why is it that there's complete silence in the media and across YouTubers? You false teachers, false prophets, and false watchers need to shut up and get on target. One or the other here. Because you're blinding people by making them look out 4 and 5 months from now and not realizing that imminent life-threatening danger is taking place right now. All you that have turned your back on the Lord, your day's coming. You need to turn around and get your face facing back to the Lord and recognize Him and repent from having turning away. And if you want to continue to lead people blindly and continue to make them look 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 months ahead and completely blind them to what's going on right here, right now, then that becomes your issue and the blood is upon your head. This is ridiculous, guys. We're getting tornadoes at least once a week, minimum once a week, sometimes 5 and 6 days of the week. We're getting hail damage that is unbelievable. We're getting wind damage that's stoking up these fires in Arizona and New Mexico and Texas and in other states all around the South. Georgia and Mississippi and all them areas that aren't near the flooding area are in severe fire. Drought. What are they doing, guys? Are you not paying any attention? Have you woke up and dozed right back off? Got lost on a big, huge rabbit trail? Are you blind? We've got the biggest military buildup ever on the East Coast for a military exercise, which the United States has never done. What's about to happen on the East Coast? What are they planning on? Why are they practicing? What's coming? They know something. Just like they did with the New Madrid. And now FEMA's all over the place. TSA is taking over not just the airports, but they're showing up in the schools and all over the place to keep order. But we've got flooding. And let me show you guys something here. Here you go, guys. Here's the Missouri River. Goes all the way up into Montana and all the way up into Canada. Okay? The stuff from Canada flows down into the Missouri River. You've got the Mississippi River right here. You've got this river running right through here, and you've got the Red River down here, and you've got the Ohio River that runs up and through here. Okay? This entire outline, guys, is where weather after 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 weather is taking place. Let's go back to the map. Okay, here's your Missouri River. Goes all the way up through here and all into here. Okay, your Red River's down here. Notice you got a little bit of flooding going on down here in Dallas. Very little, but a little bit from the storms last night. Here's your Mississippi River, and you can't see the flood marks because of the intense storms that are rolling through, but after it, you can look and you'll see the flooding marks all the way along the Mississippi River. Right here's the Mississippi River running up here, and then it hops off into Minnesota and runs up through here. Okay, here's your Ohio River, and right here is your Illinois River. Okay, so let's go back to this map. Flooding from here all the way down through here. Okay, flooding from here all the way down through here. Flooding from Chicago, Illinois River all the way down through here. Okay, Mississippi River. Okay, here's Dallas right here on the frame. Okay, all this water, guys, all of it, all of this is working its way to Louisiana. It's working its way to the Gulf of Mexico. But no, we're going to worry about some mysterious object out in outer space. Let them be completely blind to the fact that they're about to die from flooding, from tornadoes, from hurricane type structures, from severe winds that are reaching up to 80 miles per hour. Okay? Crops that are being completely eliminated. Dams that are extremely weak. Guys, do you understand that if this dam that sits right here in Montana, that with this 172-mile lake, if it were to bust, guys, because they've already said it's weak and it's out of date, if it were to go, guys, that dam's gonna, when it lets go, is gonna take all that water, 172-mile lake, and push it down to the next dam. You think that next dam's gonna hold the water that it already has plus all the water from the dam above it? And then when it goes, all the water from the first and second dam are headed to the third dam, and then to the fourth dam, and then to the fifth dam. That is a tidal wave, guys, on land. And it's all going to the nuclear power plants. Oh, but we don't care. You know, there's a mysterious object out here. There's meteorites coming. There's Elenin coming. There's the sun issues. There's all these issues. Do you not realize that NASA just sent up Tesla technology into outer space? What are they planning to do with the sun? Or the comets? 3,000 times the gravity of Earth with this device? Okay? But
let me set the stage for you. It was about a year ago. 4 men apparently tried to bomb synagogues and shoot down planes in New York State. Except there was no kaboom. The bombs and a Stinger missile they allegedly tried to use to sink the plane were duds, and they were slapped with silver bracelets. Now there's talk not only were the weapons duds, but the accusation of them being terrorists is a dud as well. Joining us now, not a dud, but a radio host, Jason Bermas. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Bermas. So give us the details about this. This might be all duds. This might be a bit of a setup. Can you explain to us just a little bit more?
Absolutely. Well, once again, we have the FBI coming in and actually creating a terror group. In fact, the only weapon that was ever recovered was brought in by the FBI, and it was a handgun. And this is very similar to what happened in 1993 with the original World Trade Center bombing. we had an Egyptian army officer, Ahmed Salam, recruited by the FBI to create a group. And in fact, he was the one that not only created the bomb that went off in the World Trade Center in 1990,